Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I apologize. Okay. The mayor's key item is on page 11, CC 20.24.4, renaming the Toronto Island Ferry Terminal the Jack Layton Ferry Terminal. It's the mayor's key item, so I'm asking if there are any questions to city staff before we go to speakers. Any questions? Okay, Mayor Ford to speak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm asking Council to support renaming the Toronto Island Ferry Terminal the Jack Layton Ferry Terminal for a number of reasons. Jack wasn't just the normal run-of-the-mill politician. He was a father, and he was a husband, and to all of us he was a friend. Whether we agreed or disagreed with his politics, he never took it personally. I was very, very fortunate when I first got elected 13 years ago to sit right where Josh is sitting, and beside him was my friend. And I'm proud to call him my friend, Jack Layton. And in the first council meeting, like many rookie councillors, we're not quite sure how things go. And he taught me procedures, taught me protocol. As for policy, I don't think we ever agreed on any policy. But he never took it personally. He said, Rob, go up, give it your best shot, and let the cards fall as they will. And I'll never forget that. And I know he went up to other rookie councils at the same time and offered his support on whatever he could do to make their first council meeting as easy as possible. And then during events out on the Danforth, we'd be walking along the sidewalk, and Jack would come up and say, "How you doing, Rob?" And he was a very gregarious type of person. He liked being around people. He liked helping out the little person that might not have had a voice. And we shared a lot of things in common, which a lot of people wouldn't believe. So I want to thank Jack for his friendship, the energy that he had for everybody, and he was a huge asset for the City of Toronto, and he will be greatly missed. As you know, he was the leader of Canada's official opposition. Folks, that's a very, very, very hard task to be, but he did it. He was also an MP. He was also a Toronto councillor, both Metro and a city councillor. We put together a working group to see how we can remember Jack. I'd like to thank Councillors McConnell, Fletcher, Nunziata, and Kelly that worked together and doing this wonderful job. It was difficult. There's almost anything and everything in the City of Toronto that you can name after Jack if you wanted to, because he was everywhere in Toronto. So on that note, I would really ask that everyone support this renaming. Let's remember Jack for the person that he was. Let's support the family. His son Mike, as we all know, his daughter Sarah, his wife Olivia, through these trying times. It's challenging on some days. So on behalf of all the residents, Councillor Layton, and all the members of the City Council, we're here to support you with whatever you need and your family. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
and support from the people of Toronto. The kindness and compassion that this council and this city have shown my family has been astonishing. From the messages of love and hope decorating Nathan Phillips Square, to the ongoing tributes, and to the people who keep offering condolences on the street and in our meetings here at City Hall. Your warm hearts help us feel optimistic during a time of despair. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our mayor. He has been supportive and kind throughout this process, and he has shown all of us his enthusiasm to find a suitable and relevant tribute to my dad's work and life. I would also like to thank city staff and Brenda Patterson specifically for her work managing this process. Her grace and sensitivity were commendable. I would like to thank Councillors McConnell, Fletcher, Nunziata, and Kelly, who participated on the committee which came up with the ferry docks as the option to move forward. I believe the ferry docks is a fitting tribute to my father's life for 3 reasons. First, it is a place for families and for Torontonians to gather. It's a public space. I remember standing on the ferry docks with my family as a child and being filled with a sense of adventure, the anticipation of an exciting journey that was to come, and what would be waiting for us on the other side. I think that's a good reflection of my dad's life. A journey full of excitement, full of family, and full of fun. Second is the political connection to the island. As the councillor for Ward 6, he had the privilege of working closely with island residents, many of whom became close family friends. Friendships that have continued with the Islanders' dedication of a book of stories about Jack and the island. And finally, and most importantly, it has the strong connection with his family. He danced in the Island Caravana Band for many years. We have great pictures that we'll continue to cherish, if for nothing else, their comedic value. We often spent weekends house-sitting for friends on the island, and as a family spent a lot of time walking and riding our bikes around and in between the islands. And of course, my dad and Olivia were married on the island in 1988. The docks helped create some of my family's most cherished memories, and will continue to create those memories for families for generations to come. For this, I offer my sincerest thanks. I will abstain from the vote today, out of respect and out of thanks to a city who has shown my family so much love and compassion throughout this difficult time, and so much kindness in their ongoing tributes to my father's life. From our entire family, thank you.
The item carries unanimously, 41 in favor.
First. Mayor Tory, to speak.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Sadly, over the past year, we've lost 3 members of Toronto City Council, Pam McConnell, Ron Moser, and former Mayor Rob Ford. And I move this motion to further the process of naming something in our city for each of them. And I realize that there is some debate in some quarters about naming things after people who are holding public office, but I believe in the case of these 3 people, they all served lengthy periods of time in public office, and so the matter of considering such a possibility is entirely proper in these 3 cases. They served for very long periods of time. I will address most of my comments this evening to the recommendation in respect of Rob Ford. The proposal to name the stadium at Centennial Park after former Mayor Rob Ford came at the request of the Ford family following an earlier public consultation process in respect of a park, which in fact I think was suggested by a citizen. As members of council know, Rob Ford was elected as the mayor of this city, died while sitting as an elected member of City Council, where he served a total of 12 years as a city councillor, plus the 4 years that he served as mayor. In all of my actions as mayor, and I think people would find it difficult to cite examples otherwise, I try to be generous, to put politics to the side and to do what seems right. I think most of us do most of the time. It's often been a challenging course in a big city which by definition contains many different groups of people who have different opinions about what the right thing to do would be. And so I told the Ford family, specifically via Rob's mother, Diane Ford, that I would honor their request, which had been made known to me in a number of different ways, by putting a motion forward to Council. And it really was within that practice of erring on the side of generosity, and because of the fact, or at least aided by the fact, that I was clearly in possession of the wishes of the Ford family. I also understand, of course, and it really goes with what I was saying, because I guess the Council is a microcosm of the population of the city, and there are going to be differing opinions and perspectives among the public and some members of Council, and some of you and some members of the public have asked legitimate questions about the very matter of how things should be named in our city and for whom. Mayor Ford had his supporters, those who felt heard and represented and helped by him. This includes many kids who played football, who would feel that he helped them and that he heard them, hence the suggestion of the naming of a football stadium in the very community that he represented. But I also recognize the fact we cannot erase history or gloss over very difficult parts of our city's past, and I know that some of the former mayor's actions and comments while in office were hurtful and disrespectful to some, and inconsistent with the expectations that go with the office that he held. Everybody as mayor, including me, swears to uphold the integrity of the office, and I understand the responsibility that we have as leaders here, especially us, to ensure that all of our citizens are respected and represented and included at all times. I will say that I believe very strongly that the divisive era of city politics in Toronto is now over, and that we are here to represent our residents' interests and their wishes and the best interests, most importantly, of the city as a whole. As I have said publicly, that is why I erred on the side of generosity in bringing this proposal forward, because I believe the era of division in the city was over, as it should be over. But in the same spirit of trying to minimize division, I'm simply standing in my place, Madam Speaker, to encourage each member of this City Council to vote on this motion based on their own assessment of what they think is right and what they believe their residents would wish them to do. To let the people of Toronto, their representatives and their perspectives guide the decision. I have honoured my own commitment to the Ford family, and I've done it in a very genuine way, and I do it in particular with regard to the conversation that I had with Mrs. Diane Ford, Rob's mother, just as I do the same with respect to conversations I've had with people representing the families of Pam McConnell and Ron Moser, so that we could put this matter, these matters, for consideration of the Council. I will support all elements of this recommendation, recognizing, as with most things here, it's now a decision we all make together, collectively, on behalf of the people that we represent. And of course, I will respect that decision, as you respect all decisions that are made in this chamber. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Recommendation 1 does not carry. The vote is 11 to 24.